Hello everyone, my name is Joy Obakhara. I'm an otolaryngologist, an ear, nose, and throat surgeon, and I'm going to be reading chapter 14 from the book Bat, Yarrow and Slope. At school on Monday, Bat and Israel got to use Mr. Grayson's computer to research the best vegetables for a skunk diet. They found a website that had sample menus for skunks. It said that young skunks, once weaned from formula, should be fed 4 times per day and should get a mixture of vegetables, a protein like chicken or fish, some sort of grain or crushed up peanuts, and occasionally some fruit for a treat. It sounds like a regular person diet, Israel said. Well, skunks are omnivores like people. Bat wished the website had a list of the vegetables that taste the best to skunks, but all it said was mixed vegetables, frozen or fresh. So what do you want to plant? Israel asked. I don't know, Bat said. What are your favorite vegetables? I like avocados, Israel said. Avocados are fruit, and they're from trees, Bat said. We can't grow those in a garden box. Oh, said Israel. And then he said, hey, I have a great idea. Israel's idea was to make a survey for the class to take, asking everyone to write down their 5 favorite vegetables. Then we can figure out which vegetables are the most popular and we can plant those, he said. Bat nodded. I like it, he said. Very scientific. When they told Mr. Grayson Israel's idea, he said, you can use the copy machine in the office if you want. So Bat and Israel made a survey. Pick your 3 favorite vegetables from this list. Number them 1, 2, and 3. Asparagus, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, carrot, corn, kale, lettuce, spinach, squash. Bat wanted to include every vegetable they found on a website that listed all the vegetables in alphabetical order. But Israel said, I don't think anyone in our class knows what yarrow or slope even are, Bat. So Bat compromised on just 10. Then they took the hall pass, which was an old flip-flop with walking pass written on the sole, and headed to the front office to make their copies. Well, hello, boys, said Principal Martinez. What can we do for you? Hi, Principal, said Israel. Mr. Grayson said we could use the copy machine. Look, we're doing a survey. He gave her the sheet they had written up. I see, said Principal Martinez. Very interesting. Do you need me to show you how to work the machine? No, said Bat. I know how. My mom has a copy machine at her clinic that she sometimes lets me use. Okay, said the principal. Well, good luck with your survey. Thank you, said Israel, but Bat was already on his way to the machine. Bat, you should have said thank you, Israel whispered to him loudly as Bat entered 16, the number of students in their class, into the copy machine's display. Do you think 16 copies is enough? Bat asked. Make it 18, just in case. Bat made it 18. He and Israel stood next to each other and watched the identical copies of their survey emerge one by one from the machine. It was, Bat thought, very satisfying. Also, Bat loved the way a working copy machine smelled. Hot, kind of rubbery, important. When the machine was done, Bat took the copies, plus the original, tapped the papers into a neat stack and said, there. I wonder what the winners will be, Israel said as they walked back to class. I hope kale is on the top 3, Bat said. Why? Asked Israel. Do you like kale? Not really, Bat said, but my mom says it's got lots of vitamins in it, and I want Thor to be extra healthy. When they got back to class, Mr. Grayson said, okay, everyone, attention. We have a special activity. Bat, Israel, want to tell us about it? Bat opened his mouth to talk, but nothing came out. It was as if, standing in front of the class with everyone staring at him, he had forgotten how to speak. Luckily, Israel remembered. Bat and I are going to plant a garden to grow food for Thor, the skunk Bat's raising. And we want everyone to vote on which vegetables we should plant. So everyone take a survey and mark your 3 favorite vegetables. Then he nudged Bat, who was holding the stack of surveys. Jolted into movement, Bat passed them out. He even gave one to Mr. Grayson and one to Israel and kept one for himself. Back at his desk, on his own survey, Bat numbered kale, broccoli, and corn as 1, 2, and 3. When everyone was done, he had Israel walk around the room and collected the surveys. Okay, said Mr. Grayson, when you've tallied the results, let us know what the winning vegetables are. Then it was time for recess, and everyone went outside. Bat stared down at the stack of surveys, smiling. They were really going to make a skunk garden. I have enjoyed reading this chapter with you. What do you all think they're going to choose for a vegetable?